Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft Mythbusting. It has certainly been a while since the last one, but now we have a new update of Minecraft. 1.12 has been released and I've got a whole bunch of questions to ask about this update, but for today we are focusing on the parrot. Now the parrot will spawn in the jungle biome. This is the only type of biome that it actually spawns in, and there are 5 different colours of parrots to go into the jungle and find. They will all have 3 hearts of health. They drop between 1 and 2 feathers upon death, and they are completely passive with no attack, so if you attack them, they will not attack you back. They also contribute to the passive mob cap. This is the same mob cap for animals like cows and chickens, and that means yes, technically you could make a parrot farm, but that would be a crazy amount of work. If you feed them cookies, unfortunately they will die, and parrots can also mimic the sounds of mobs that are nearby to them. They will crowd around other mobs as well, including the player, hostile and passive mobs. When a jukebox is playing a record, they will dance along if they are close enough to the jukebox. This is a reference to the party parrot meme. Parrots are also pets that can be tamed with seeds. Once you've tamed them, you can right click on the parrot to make it sit. And there is no way to breed parrots, so as of this point in the game, no baby parrots actually exist. 2 can sit on the player's shoulder at one time. They will always mount on the left side of the player first of all, and when you put parrots in water they will actually swim. With that brief overview out of the way, it's time to get into the real myth busting, and we're going to revisit a classic test. Behind me is the fishing rod, the lead, and the name tag. And I tell you what, it's always worth doing these things because there's a good chance you'll find something interesting out. And we are certainly going to find something interesting out in just a moment. So we will start off with the fishing rod. Here is our test subject parrot, and we can use the fishing rod on this guy. No problems at all. Notice that he takes no damage, and there's not even like 0 tick damage where they appear to take damage, but they actually don't. Next up, we'll do the name tag test. The classic one is to use Dinnerbone because it will flip the mob upside down. You can see that works on the parrot, and of course the parrot can be name tagged, which is really cool. Now here's where things get interesting. We can use a lead on this guy, and you'll see that the lead appears above its head, which is kind of strange. But where things get interesting is when we start to move around, we can actually bring the parrot along with us. And we can actually move quite fast, and this guy will whiz along with us, which is really, really cool. Let's go up, let's go down as well, and this guy is still leashed. Crazy stuff. I know what you're thinking. Can you fly with these suckers? Well, after a long day in the jungle hunting down parrots, you might just want to fly home with them. I certainly wish I'd have thought of that on my Hermitcraft episode, but it doesn't matter because these guys, they will actually break off when you're flying. However, it's surprisingly reliable. Let's see if I can simulate what I did in my test again. So if they are already flying, when you start flying, you have a much better success rate than when they're on a platform like this fella. So if I go into this mode, I drop off and fly, you should see that there are now 5 of them attached, and that one that was on the platform probably didn't have a good time. However, it looks like it's still doing alright. And then if we use a rocket, that's done better in the past, but you did see that they stay attached for a moment. So probably not a good idea to use a lot of boost. But the first time I did this, I tell you, I was flying around for a long time and they were staying attached. But it isn't reliable, but it's definitely quirky. Here's another classic. Can the parrots go inside minecarts and boats? The answer is yes, but we can go into a little bit more detail than that. Let's put down a minecart, let's get it moving, let's bring in a parrot, and you saw that guy jumped in real easy. But that's because the parrot was falling down. If we just get that minecart to slow down for a second, I can demonstrate this. The parrot is now on the tracks, and it goes into it nice and easy. So with minecarts, it's pretty straightforward. With boats, it's not the same. If we put a parrot there, it jumps inside of the boat. But the problem with the boat is that it has a big hitbox. I can press F3 and B to bring that up and show you it. So if we have a parrot over here and we get inside the boat and swim towards it, we're actually going to push it off the edge like that, which is not very good. Now you might have more success than me, but I find it equally frustrating when the parrot drops down on top of the boat. They can just sit on top of the hitbox instead of colliding with it and then get inside of the boat. So they can go in boats, but in survival it's going to be a little bit finicky. This next test is usually reserved for hostile mobs. I didn't expect any surprises, and we didn't get any, but I wanted to let you know. I've put down some parrots in with the iron golem and the snow golem, and there's no interaction here at all. They get along with one another. Here's another quick test. I got a couple of parrots on my shoulder, and in front of us is a horsey that I've tamed. This is from our classic horse speed testing area, and if we get on top of this horse, the parrots will dismount, which is kind of unfortunate. I really wanted to ride this guy with some parrots on my shoulder. To get those fellas to sit on my shoulder, I of course had to tame them, and we know that seeds do that, but surprisingly you can also tame them with pumpkin seeds, with melon seeds, and beetroot seeds as well. I find this interesting because they're actually different items in the game. It's not like it has a damage value for one type of item, so that has been specifically coded into the game that all types of seeds can tame the parrots. Next up, I'd like to revisit a couple of things I mentioned in the beginning clips of this video. One of those is that the parrots will sit on your shoulder on the left hand side every time. So I'm actually going to demonstrate that to you. This guy's now sitting on my left shoulder. Let's get him to dismount. Let's go up to the next fella, walk over, and he's straight on my left shoulder again. And let's do that one more time. And another time as well. Hi, there you go. Always on the left hand side. The other thing I mentioned in the beginning of the video was that parrots can mimic the sounds of other mobs in range, and you may have wondered, what exactly is that range? Well, you're looking at it. Look at that right there. It's a giant cube. That is the shape of the area around them that they can actually mimic the sound of another mob. Let's fly in here. This is centered around the parrot, not the gold cube, around where the parrot is. And the way that I conducted this test was to first of all just spawn a few wither skeletons nearby, kept getting further and further away until I got to this range over here. So when we fly back to the parrot and we listen carefully, and I don't talk, there it is. You can hear the sound of the wither skeleton. So now what we can do is bring this guy over a little bit, and if we go on the inside there, it won't be able to get back in because it's too tall. And now when we stand next to this guy, we'll never hear him imitate the sound of the wither skeleton. So I've stood here a while, and all this guy's done is squawk at me, not making any wither skeleton sounds, and actually I think they make the sounds of other mobs way more frequently than they do their own squawking. So this range, from one block out from where the parrot is to this wall, is 20 blocks, and that is the distance. So then I decided to go from side to side. I went and put a wither skeleton over here and kept bringing it out further and further, and you'll find if we do the test again that a wither skeleton that's standing here will be heard by the parrot, and as soon as it's outside of that range it will no longer be heard. Now when it comes to up and down, the range is actually 21 blocks, and it seems to only focus on the bottom hitbox of the wither skeleton. So a wither skeleton here will be heard by the parrot, and at the bottom of this area, this wither skeleton will be heard, but this one won't, even though part of its body is inside of that area. So to reiterate the distance once more for you, we start outside of the block that the parrot is standing in. So from here to the glass wall is 20 blocks on all sides, and then from there to the glass wall at the top will be 21, and the same for going down. Are you ready to run the gauntlet? Because behind me there is a whole bunch of different traps that's going to induce a lot of pain. And that's because we're going to test what happens to the parrot on the shoulder when we take damage. Because I got a tweet from someone saying that parrots on your shoulder can't take damage, and that's kind of true. But as you're probably about to see, we're going to walk around straight into this lava, which may be hazardous for this parrot, let's say. So in we walk, and you can see the parrot has unfortunately been set on fire. So this time when I walk in, the parrot is absolutely fine sitting inside of lava because I'm in game mode 1 and I'm not actually taking any damage right now. So we're going to do this test a whole bunch of times, but I think we'll find it's pretty consistent. Let's go into game mode 0. So eventually I'm going to drown and that parrot's probably going to dismount. Looks like my breath is running out, and bam, there you go. Take some damage and instantly the parrot dismounts. So I've got to press the button, and then I've got to look up because, yikes, anvil. That did some damage to me, of course. Well, not because I got resistance on, but you saw as soon as that hit my head, the parrot dismounted. This next one might be a little bit difficult to see what's going on, because now I'm being crushed. And I think the parrot got momentarily crushed for a second there as well. The next one is the magma block. I take damage, and the parrot dismounts. Then we have the poison potion effect. The parrot dismounts. And as for these other ones, the Wither effect, getting pricked by a cactus and shot by a skeleton that's disappeared. I think you get the picture. You take damage, the parrot dismounts. So you might have thought you discovered a neat trick that you can show off to your friends. Chug a fire resist potion, stand in the fire, or the lava even. Thing is, even though you don't take damage, the parrot dismounts. That is a strange little quirk. It's probably because you get set on fire, even though it doesn't do you any harm. You don't need to know this since it doesn't work, but actually I guess it's probably good to know. So, cat sitting on top of a chest, can't open the chest. Parrot sitting on top of the one, you can open it just fine. I think I just discovered my favourite parrot feature. Let's fly away from this guy so he can't be heard. And let's place some parrots down on the ground within range. They're imitating the Wither! That's pretty mental sounding right there. Here's an old favourite of mine. We've got rabbits, we've got jump boost. The two of them together is kind of hilarious, as you can see. But we're not here to test the rabbits, we're here to test parrots today. So let's summon some in. And they've all got jump boost. And I watched these for a while. They seem to just get off the ground like normal. I couldn't see the jump boost having any effect whatsoever. But the reason I came over here was not actually to test that. It was to test something else. So, let's press this button. Bam! Lightning strike. Okay, so if you know this Easter egg, you got a villager, gets struck by lightning, turns into a witch. Now the witch is dead, and we can do that test on the parrot. Let's actually put 4 of them in the middle, summon the lightning, and they all get set on fire and die. So, no secrets there. So next up, I've got a bug to show you. Thank you to Stypox for tweeting me this. This is very cool. So we're going to summon in a bunch of parrots with the sitting tag, which means they're going to be sitting. However, they're not tamed, and this is definitely a bug. Let's bring them in. Let's give them a nudge so they spread out, and then what we're going to do is give them a damage potion, and they all start flying, even though they're sitting. Oh, that's absolutely hilarious. And that's going to be it from me this episode of Minecraft Myth Busting. If you've enjoyed it, leave a like on the video. As always, thank you so much for your support. And go down to the comment box right now after you've left a like and let me know what questions you've got for Minecraft 1.12. We will be doing more Minecraft Myth Busting. And if you do want more, check out the playlist. First link in the description box. Loads of videos full of loads of useful information. Anyway, that is it from me this episode. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.